The crucifixion is the history of man. Our human history begins with birth and ends with death. In divine history, it begins with death and ends with birth. There is a complete reversal of these histories. Here we begin in the womb and end in the tomb. But in divine history, we begin in the tomb and awaken in the womb, where we are born. Now, here in this fantastic drama, I think we have misconceived the part of Jesus Christ and made of him an idol. And having made of him an idol, he hides from us the true God. Let us turn to the book of Luke 18:31-34. And taking the 12, he said to them, Behold, we are going up to Jerusalem, and everything that is written of the Son of Man by the prophets will be accomplished. For he will be delivered to the Gentiles, and will be mocked and shamefully treated and spit upon. They will scourge him and kill him, and on the third day he will rise. But they understood none of these things. This saying was hid from them, and they did not grasp what was said. We are told that no one understood him. Now believe this, I am speaking to you as I have tried every night from experience. I am not theorizing. I have no interest whatsoever in trying to set up some workable philosophy of life. I really haven't. If I made my exit tonight, it would make no difference to me personally. Maybe to my wife and my child, my family, but not to me. This drama begins with the crucifixion. Unless I die, thou canst not live, but if I die, I shall arise again, and thou with me. Wouldest thou die for one who never died, for thee, or ever die for one who had not died for thee? Blake Jer, plate 96. This is the story of every being born of woman. No child in the world could cross the threshold that admits to conscious life unaided by the death of God. It is God's purpose to give us himself as though there were no others in the world. Just God and you, God and I. Believe this, really. If you believe it, then the most unbelievable gospel in the world becomes possible and believable. And it takes the Son to reveal it to be true. Now, this is the story as revealed to me. You may think, well, now that was just a simple, wonderful, exciting. Yes, just a dream. May I tell you, it was not a dream. It was an experience more vivid than this moment here in this room. For true vision is far more alive than anything you have ever experienced in this world. But anything. This night in question, I was walking with an enormous number, as though the whole humanity walked in a certain direction, and I was one of the unnumbered. As I walked with them, they were all dressed in this very colorful Arabic colors, and a voice shouted out of the blue, and the voice said, "And God walks with them." A woman to my right, I would say in her 30s, maybe 40, a most attractive Arab, and she asked the voice, "If God walks with us, where is he?" And the voice answered from the blue, "At your side." She took it as the whole vast world takes these things, literally. And turning to her side, she looked into my eyes and became hysterical. It struck her so funny. It was the funniest thing she had ever heard. God walks with us. And she turned to a simple man with all of his frailties, all of his weaknesses, one she knew well. And having looked into his face, having heard the voice, she said, "What? Neville Goddard?" And the voice replied, "God laid himself down within you to sleep. And as he slept, he dreamed a dream. He dreamed," and I completed the sentence. "He was dreaming he was me. How else would I be in this world if he didn't dream? And you awake from sheer emotionalism. And may I tell you, this is the sensation of the crucifixion. It's the most delightful sensation in the world. It is not painful. My hands became vortexes, my head a vortex, my feet vortexes, my side a vortex. And here I was, driven into this body on the bed through my emotionalism, held by 6 vortexes: my hand, my feet, my head, and my side. And the delight, the sheer joy of being driven upon this cross, this body. So I speak from experience. It is not a painful act, but it happened in the beginning of time. This was only a memory image returning when I was about to awake. But in that interval, how long? Who knows? The Bible speaks of 3 days between the crucifixion and the resurrection, but that is all symbolism. Blake calls it 6,000 years. He said, "I behold the visions of my deadly sleep of 6,000 years, dazzling around thy skirts like a serpent of precious stones and gold. I know it is myself, O my divine Creator and Redeemer." Jer, plate 96. Here we turn to the drama of this coming Friday. All of Christian churches will reenact, and they differ. Matthew 27:46 and Mark 15:34 gave the last cry on the cross as the quotation from Psalms 22:1. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? John 19:20 gives it in the cry, it is finished. Luke 23:46 substitutes the 31st Psalm, 5th verse, for the 22nd Psalm, because he was using Mark's script. But he elaborates on Mark's script, and he substituted Psalm 31:5 for Psalm 22:1. And this is what he quotes: Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit. This is the verse. Into thy hand I commit my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, O Lord, faithful God. He kept his faith, for he told me, unless I die, thou canst not live. But if I die, I shall arise again, and thou with me. There came the very act of crucifixion that was in itself resurrection. Yes, an interval of time in between, no question about it. But may I tell you, no one in this world can fail. As quoted in Romans 6:5, for if we have been united with Christ in a death like his, we shall certainly be united with him in a resurrection like his.